Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is a Monday. Whew. I don't know about you, but I love Mondays. It's also the first day back to school for the kids. And if you are a parent, you fully understand that while we love our children, it is also nice when they are back in school. So welcome to Glow and Grow. For those of you who are new, we call it Glow and Grow. I come in with a message just to get us growing and glowing for the day. As we talk about toxic and narcissistic relationships here, the message I want to share with you today, and I shared this over the weekend, but I took the video down. I was skimming through social media this morning and I saw them, I don't know, maybe because I like Tina Turner, but you know, the algorithm sends you things that you tend to look at. And I keep seeing this post or this reel about Tina Turner and how her relationship, you know, we always hear about her relationship with her ex-husband, Ike Turner. But her relationship with her mother was also very bad. And in this reel, it's shared. And if you watch the movie, What's Love Got to Do with It, you probably saw this. But in this reel, it talks about how Tina Turner shared that she tried really, really hard to get her mother's love and affection. And she said, you know, as I started making money, I bought my mother things. You know, I made sure she was set up, she was comfortable. And but nothing made her love her daughter, right? And the only time she seemed interested in her daughter is when she needed to get something from her. And that put me in the mind of what we talk about here, you know, with toxic and narcissistic relationships, where, you know, we cannot force people to be who we want them to be. We cannot force people to love us. We cannot force people to love us the way we want them to love us. We cannot force people to respect us. We cannot force people to value us. We cannot force people to respect our boundaries, right? The only way to force that is to just not deal with them, right? But we can't force people to be who we want them to be. So as we are stepping into this new year, right? And if you're on this channel, you are probably dealing with some type of toxic and narcissistic relationship. You know, the mindset is everything in how we experience life, right? I believe it controls most of how we experience life. And what I see is that people are causing more pain to themselves because they're refusing to accept people for who they are. Good morning, Kalu. Good morning. They are refusing to accept people for who they are, right? When people continue to show you who they are, you have to believe them. You have to listen, and then you have to deal with them accordingly. We cannot force. There's no conversation you can sit down and have with some people. There's no amount of love you can give to someone. And I've been there. Let me tell you, if you don't know my story, I talk about this. I'm a mental health professional, but I also had narcissistic relationships, both romantic and family. And I remember when I came out of that narcissistic romantic relationship, which was 10 years, 2 of it was marriage, I then got support from family members, and a couple of those, most of them were fine, were great, but a couple of those family members turned out to be also toxic and narcissistic people. And I remember feeling like, especially with one of them, because it's a sibling of mine, and I remember thinking like, if I just love on him more, if I just be a better sister, you know, and just give an example of, you know, what it's like, you know, to be a good person, to love on someone, he'll change. And that was a big mistake I made. And by the grace of God, you know, I realized there's nothing you can do to change some people. Me and my husband, we love watching novelas. Don't ask me why. We're not Hispanic, but we love watching novelas, and we're watching one now called La Piloto. So if you're a Netflix person, check it out. But it's about the cartel, of course. And this, good morning, good morning. I see you all coming in. Good morning. Good morning. And there's this military man, a colonel, and he's crazy, right? He's crazy. He ended up kidnapping this woman who got lost in the jungle. He kidnapped her for 5 months. mistreated her, and she managed to escape. And as she escaped, she had to do things to him to hurt him. I don't want to say the wrong things here on social media, but she had to do things to him to hurt him in order for her to escape. And it completely destroyed his life. He lost his marriage because his wife found out what he was doing. He lost his career. He got kicked out of the military. So he lost everything, right? And now he's a refugee. He's on the run. And throughout this series, he's now dedicating his life to chasing this woman because he's saying it's her fault. She ruined my life. She did me wrong. Look what she did to me. And in his mind, that makes sense. He doesn't have the capacity, the emotional intelligence, or even intellectual intelligence to say, okay, yes, she did this to me, but why did she do this to me? It's because I was abusing her. I was mistreating her, and she had to escape. I was the one that kidnapped her. I was the one that, stole all of these drugs and all these things and ruined my career, right? And I'm bringing that up, one, because it's a great series, so check it out if you can. But secondly, this is an example of how some people, they do not have the capacity to take responsibility. They don't have the capacity to reflect on their decisions, on their behavior, on how they're hurting other people. They really believe they have the right to do so, right? So, a lot of times when people hear the word delusional, they think of extreme cases where people are maybe diagnosed with schizophrenia or something like that. But there are a lot of functioning delusional people in this world too. And that is an example, right? Where some people believe I can do whatever I want to you, and you don't have the right to save yourself, right? To leave or to speak about it or to, defend yourself, right? There's a lot of delusional people around there. So what that means for us is that we have to accept people for who they are. We have to understand that we cannot force people to be who we want them to be. We cannot force people to see things the way we want them to see it. Now, yes, there are people who maybe don't understand certain things, and it's a healthy relationship where you all are uplifting each other, you're educating each other, you're seeing things from different perspectives. Yes, I'm not saying don't explain anything to anyone, but we have to be wise and use discernment to see who's receptive to learning and evolving and developing and growing and being a better person, and who is not. Right? Or just who don't have the capacity. Over the weekend when I spoke about this, good morning. When I spoke about this, someone said, well, why do some people not want to develop? Why do some people not want to change? And there's so many different reasons, right? I spoke about this person from the show. Clearly this person has a personality disorder. Usually people have been through things in their past, why they develop a personality disorder. But, my overall response to that is just pray for them. It's not our job to try to figure out someone's personality. Right. And while we talk about toxic and narcissistic people here, I am not that type of coach or mental health professional that's going to flood you with, narcissism in the sense of you being obsessed with studying narcissism and understanding narcissism. You need to understand it enough to know how to recognize it, right? And how to remove yourself, right? But you don't even have to diagnose narcissism. You just need to see what a healthy or unhealthy person looks like. Whether they're narcissistic, sociopathic, psychopath, whatever it is, that's not even really our concern. Why they are the way they are, that's not even really our business. And yes, it does help to understand someone's history, but we have to be careful that we don't get too caught up in studying them and not working on ourselves, because there's work we have to do, right? It's not a coincidence that they picked people like us, right? There's a reason. And usually they pick people like us because of our good characteristics, but the work that needs to be done is how do we make sure we don't get caught up in those situations again. All right, so that is my message for today. I see some questions here. James, James, I see your question. I'm more than willing to answer it if you're still here. And law and context. If you are still here, I'm willing to answer your questions. So just give me a thumbs up or let me know you're here, and I'll be more than glad to answer those questions for you. If not, I'm going to head out. You all have a blessed day, and I will see you soon. All right. Bye. Oh, here we go.